There is one question in a job interview that can undo all your hard work in 30 seconds or less. A bad answer doesn't just raise a red flag, it erodes the foundation of trust you're trying to build. That question is, why are you looking to leave your current role?
So, Alec, your resume is impressive. Can you tell me what prompted you to start looking for a new opportunity?
Well, to be perfectly honest, my manager was a classic micromanager. He had to approve every single detail, which really slowed down my team's productivity. I felt that my skills weren't being trusted, and frankly, the leadership style created a very stifling atmosphere. Looking for a place that values autonomy. Okay, let's pause the role play there. That felt very real, but you just fell into the most common trap in interviewing.
I thought I was honest. What's wrong with it? Many people leave jobs for that exact reason. It feels deceptive to hide the real problem.
That's the core of the issue. The difference between honesty and strategic communication. It is true, but it's also counterproductive because of the negativity bias. Interviewers are wired to look for risk, and any form of complaining, no matter how justified, triggers their threat detection. When you criticize a former manager, you're not just sharing a fact, you're showcasing how you handle professional conflict. The hiring manager is engaging in psychological projection. They're picturing you in their organization complaining about them or their colleagues in a future interview. You're also creating doubts about your discretion. If you'll speak ill of a past employer to a stranger, it suggests you might do the same to them. It creates a massive perceived risk with zero upside for you.
So, I'm being penalized for being candid? It seems like a game where honesty is discouraged.
It's not about dishonesty. It's about demonstrating high-level professional skills, emotional regulation, discretion, and the ability to frame challenges constructively are valuable competencies. The interviewer isn't just listening to the story, they're assessing these very skills. Your answer is a work sample.
Okay, I see the distinction. It's a deeper evaluation than I thought. So, if I can't talk about the real problems, what am I supposed to say?
You pivot. The secret is to understand that the interviewer isn't really asking about your last job. They're asking about your future. They use this question to gauge your professionalism, your self-awareness, and your ambition.
And how do you demonstrate all of that?
You build an answer that does it for you. There's a simple 3-step framework that transforms your reason for leaving from a potential liability into a compelling asset. We use a simple 3-step framework. I call it neutral context, growth angle, and forward-looking reason.
Okay, let's break that down. Neutral context.
Step 1. You state the situation factually, without any emotion or blame. You're not judging it, you're just describing it. Instead of saying, my boss was a micromanager, you say, my last role was in a highly structured environment with a very hands-on review process. One is a complaint, the other is a neutral professional observation.
Objective. I get it. What's next?
Step 2 is the growth angle. This is where you pivot from the past to your own professional development. You demonstrate accountability and self-awareness by explaining what you learned from that neutral context. You could add, I learned from that experience that I'm most effective and innovative when I have more autonomy over my projects. You're showing that you reflect and you understand what you need to succeed.
So you're turning the challenge into a self-realization. That's a powerful shift. What's the final step?
Step 3. The forward-looking reason. This is the most crucial part because it connects everything directly to the job you're applying for. It answers the silent question, why are you here? Following our example, you'd finish with, that's why I was so excited to see this particular opportunity. The job description emphasizes leading initiatives and creative problem-solving, which aligns perfectly with where I want to take my career.
So let's contrast them. The weak answer was, my boss was a micromanager and the atmosphere was stifling.
And the strong, framework-based answer is, my previous role was in a highly structured environment with a very hands-on review process. I learned from that experience that I'm most effective when I have more autonomy. That's why I was so interested in this position, as it seems to offer a great deal of ownership and focuses on leading new initiatives.
The difference is profound. The second one sounds confident, self-aware, and ambitious, not bitter about the past. But what about a situation that isn't about management style? What if you were laid off? A typical answer might be, unfortunately, the company had to downsize and my role was eliminated. It's honest, but it feels weak.
It's weak because it positions you as a victim of circumstance. It's passive. Let's apply the framework to make it active and forward-looking. Neutral context. My company recently underwent a significant restructuring, which, while challenging for everyone, was a necessary business decision to refocus on their core market. This shows you understand the business context and aren't bitter.
That's a great start. It shows maturity. What's the growth angle? It feels hard to find a growth angle in being laid off.
This is where you show resilience. The growth angle is, the transition gave me an unexpected opportunity to step back and assess my career goals. It clarified for me that I want to focus more deeply on, mention a specific skill or area, which is where my greatest strengths lie. And the forward-looking reason, that's why I'm being very intentional with my job search, and why this role, with its focus on, mention relevant aspect of the job, is so compelling. It's not just a next step, it's the right next step. So you've transformed a moment of vulnerability into a narrative of purpose and intention. You're no longer the person who was laid off, you're the strategic professional who is making a deliberate career move.
That's very effective. Okay, let's tackle a more senior level scenario. What if the reason for leaving is a fundamental disagreement with company strategy or stagnation in compensation? A weak answer would be, I feel undervalued and I don't believe in the new CEO's vision. That's a minefield.
Absolutely. It frames you as oppositional and potentially motivated only by money. Let's elevate. Neutral context. My company recently underwent a major strategic pivot to focus on a different market segment. Again, this is factual and non-judgmental. You're not saying the pivot was wrong, just that it happened.
And what's the growth angle for a senior leader?
It's about professional alignment. While I respect the new direction, the shift has moved the company away from the high-growth technology sector where my passion and expertise truly lie. The experience has crystallized for me that my next role should allow me to fully leverage my background in scaling innovative tech products. This addresses the strategy issue without sounding insubordinate.
Now, let's isolate the compensation issue because it's a sensitive but common reason for leaving. A weak answer is, frankly, I wasn't being paid what I'm worth and there was no budget for a meaningful raise. It's confrontational.
It makes the conversation about money, not about value. Using the framework, you can reframe it elegantly. Neutral context. My current role has evolved significantly, and the compensation structure hasn't kept pace with the expanded responsibilities I've taken on. This is a factual statement about process, not a personal complaint. That's the final piece of the puzzle. The forward-looking reason connects your desire for growth to the new opportunity. You can say, and so I'm seeking a role at a company with a more transparent compensation structure that directly rewards high performers, which is a value that your organization is well known for. I am confident that my contributions to, mention a specific company goal, will generate significant value, and I'm looking for a place that recognizes that.